Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and today we're here with Alex Ziwak. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Well, thank you for having me, Keith. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
The honor is all mine. I know we've been fighting with Skype, and so we decided to do FaceTime. At least we got the interview, so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
And now, for people who want to know, I did mention this before we went on the air, you look and sound exactly like Donnie Wahlberg.
Well, that's a compliment. Thank you. I've been working with Donnie on Blue Bloods for the past 8 years. So maybe that's why I've taken on some of his characteristics and sound like him. Yeah, Donnie's a super nice guy. And I love working on Blue Bloods. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I do have a lot of questions for you. But the first one I was going to ask you, are you guys on good terms? Do I keep in touch?
I see. I see Donnie basically when I work on Blue Bloods. He's a super nice guy. Some of the other folks that work on the show, I talk to them by Facebook and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, I do have a couple ideas I'd like to talk to you about off the air.
Sure.
We are a long way from that to start.
Yeah.
I noticed on your profile that you are a business owner, and that's my first question is, I noticed that you are a business owner. Who influenced you to start your own business, and how many years have you been running your own business?
Well, that's where I am actually right now doing this interview at my martial arts school, Ziwak's Martial Arts. I started taking the martial arts with my sister about 40 years ago. It was something that we were both interested in. And through the years, we trained together and we competed at different competitions and so on and so forth. But then there came a time where our instructor had to leave for personal reasons. And then I started training in California with an instructor. And at that time, I had opened up my own school with my sister and been teaching in Hamden, Connecticut for the past over 20 years or so.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Thanks. Yeah.
Here's an oxymoron question for you. Did
Okay.
Power Rangers have a big influence you? Let me rephrase it. Did Power Rangers? I can't even talk. Did Power Rangers have a big influence on you and your sister? Is that why you started your martial arts career?
Actually, I was more interested before Power Rangers came out when David Carradine was doing Kung Fu and Bruce Lee was playing the Green Hornet. That's what really turned me on to the martial arts. I played basketball and baseball and stuff like that, but seeing Kung Fu and the Green Hornet, that's what really turned me on and my sister to the martial arts. Plus, it was something we wanted to do. We were always involved in team sports. So we wanted to do something that was more an individual type of activity. But once you start the martial arts, you realize it's just like a family. You're back to being with a group on a team. So that's how I was interested in getting involved. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I do like martial arts, and my sister's a big martial arts fan. She
Hmm.
loves Bruce Lee.
Oh, Bruce Lee. Well, he's the best. I mean, all his movies, Enter the Dragon, all those. He's it. Yeah.
For me, I like Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan.
Hmm.
But I know this guy's not a real person, but my next person I was going to mention is from Dragon Ball Z, Son Goku.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that are into that, and I think it's really cool, but I never got into that part of martial arts. I mean, I like Chuck Norris when he was on Texas Ranger, Van Damme, and all the Seagal movies, and those type of movies, Jackie Chan, people like that. I was more interested in.
All right, before we go to another subject, actually, while we're on the subject, I was going to talk to you about. I noticed you are a master in martial arts. You have I think it's a black belt. You were doing this for 8 years. Eight.
Yeah, I'm ninth degree black belt. I've been doing it for over 40 years. I have school, like I said, here in Hamden, Connecticut, with other black belts that are instructors at the school. So if I have to work, say on Blue Bloods, I have quality instructors that are able to do the classes here. And I don't have to worry if I'm on set somewhere where, okay, how things are being run at the school. I know they're in good hands. And that makes when I'm working on set a very relaxed feeling for me.
All
Yeah.
right. How do you feel about, one more actor name I'm going to throw at you? I want your honest opinion. How do you feel about Jason David Frank? He's also a martial artist.
I don't know him that well, so I can't really speak on him that much. So, if I knew him better, then I can give you my opinion, but I don't.
He's someone I've been trying. We've been playing phone tag. But hopefully, I get him on the show.
Hmm. Yeah, hopefully you can.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is: have you ever worked with people with special needs, and would you be willing to work with people with special needs?
Yes, I've had students with special needs in my school. I have instructors that work with kids that have special needs right now. I have a gentleman sitting in my office that has a lot of experience working with them, and he's a student of mine. Uh, I feel the special needs children or people should train just like anybody else, and they're always welcome in our school. So that's how I feel about it.
All right, if you're interested, I would love to work with you if that's a possibility.
Sure, I'd love to.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is: I did mention that you are a business owner and you are in the martial arts world, but also what caught my interest was you are also an upcoming actor.
Yeah, I've been acting for 10 years now. So it's been a while. I've been a member of SAG for 10 years. I first started out doing independent movies, student movies to build up my resume, to learn the field. And then I said, well, you know, I don't, I want to move up to the next level. So then I got some other pictures done by my photographer, Jason Bird. And then I sent them out to different casting agents and managers. So then I picked up a lot of agents, and I have a manager that send me out on auditions for, like, Monday. I went on an audition for Gotham. Last week I went on an audition for a new pilot in Boston. So these people represent me. But when I first started, it's like being in the martial arts, a white belt. And then I had to work my way up. And some people still enjoy doing independent films and local things, which I think is great. But I'll do that if I know the person and I enjoy working with them. But I'm more focused on shows that are on major TV networks that you go see in the theater, like John Wick, The Drop, and of course shows like Blue Bloods, Person of Interest, shows like that. Yeah, so I've been doing it for 10 years, so kind of like a veteran rather than a newbie. Yeah,
Now, here's a question for you:
yeah.
is what do you? It's like the two-parter. The first part is what do you enjoy more, being an actor or working in the martial arts?
Well, I've been the martial arts is number one. I've been doing that since I was a youngster. I enjoy the martial arts. I enjoy seeing the people, helping the people achieve their goals. Okay, whatever it may be, benefit of their health. Some of the kids help them develop their listening skills, their coordination, their self confidence, so on and so forth. But the acting is another aspect of my life where it's a form of art too, because you're saying martial art. Now, an actor is an artist. So again, um, working on a project and then seeing the ending result and saying to myself, wow, that came out really good. Just like working with a child and seeing the transformation and saying to yourself, wow, what a transformation. So I mean, I enjoy really both. I can't say which one I enjoy more, but I'm first a martial artist, then an actor.
No, absolutely. You have to have a passion for what you do. But for
Exactly.
example, I want to do this until I die. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying that to be cute.
No, no, I agree. Acting is a very tough business. Most of the auditions you go on, you don't get. So that's when I gained perseverance from the martial arts to never give up. And a lot of people give up when things don't go exactly the way they would like. And sometimes when one door closes and the other door opens up. I mean, if I gave up years ago, I would never be a regular on Blue Bloods, and I would have never been in John Wick, and I would never met all the really nice, cool people that I've met in the field.
No, absolutely. Now you mentioned John Wick.
Mhm.
What was your role on it? Were you like an extra? Were you like a supporting role?
I was a prominent role as a featured Russian gangster. You can see me in the atrium talking with a woman when John Wick is going into the hotel to check in, and that scene there. So yeah, like I said earlier, I if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna want to play in the major leagues. And say it's like a little league baseball boy that played little league baseball, a girl that played baseball or softball. Then they graduate from the minors to the majors, or like in baseball, there's single A, double A, triple A, and then the major leagues. So at this stage in my life and career, I feel like I'm in the major leagues. I'm not a big player like, how can I say, like the Golden State Warriors. I'm not Kevin Durant or Steph Curry, but I'm a player, and I want to continue to climb the ladder.
No, absolutely. And you can use me for an example. I'm not like you. That you said you are in the major leagues now, and you are an inspiration for people who want to follow in your footsteps. So you are an inspiration. But I'm not like Derek Jeter or A Rod
Right, exactly.
or any of those. But I'm showing you, hey, look at what someone who has a fifth grade education, who reads and learns at a fifth grade level, and who was classified handicapped, mentally disturbed, retarded. Look at what he was able to do with his label, and look at what he was able to accomplish. So the question I was going to ask you is, what is your summary? Because I usually save this question for the very end. We were just talking about comparison. You know, some people are able to size somebody up. I can do that sometimes, but I'm not an expert. When I first approached you, and actually, screw it, I'm going to ask you the question now. When I first approached you to be be a question on my show, when
Mhm.
I first asked you to be a guest on my show, did you size me up, and what was your reaction? Like, did you think this was a scam? Do you think this was a front? What made you say yes? Become
I,
we come.
yeah, no, I didn't think it was a scam or a front or anything like that. I just thought it was a gentleman that has a talk show that has people come on there and to talk about their career, their life, so on and so forth. I had no idea that you were, how could I say it, had these different things going on. Um, and I think it's great that you're doing it. I think it's an inspiration for a lot of people that might think that they can't do it, who are in the same boat as you are. I think it's awesome.
No, absolutely. Now, what is your honest opinion? And you can say anything you want. This is freedom of speech. What is your honest opinion of me? Do you think I'm still in the minor leagues, or do you think I'm still beneath that, or do I have potential?
No, you're far from the minor leagues. I think you definitely have potential. The first 2 minutes you were talking to me, the questions you were asking me were better than some people that are on network TV and local radio. So I feel like you have a lot of potential.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're
Now,
welcome.
we're going to take a commercial break in a couple minutes, but the one thing I do want to talk to you real fast is about Blue Bloods.
Hmm.
Who approached you to be on Blue Bloods, and how did that story come about?
How that came about, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a Sunday, and I was ready to leave the house with a friend of mine, this woman I was with, and she had the TV on, and the commercial came on, and I said, I want to be on that. I'm going to be on that show one day. And then what happened was, since I have this look, they were looking for perpetrators to be on an episode. So I put in for a perpetrator. But then the casting agent called me and said, hey, look, the producer and people are interested in you being an undercover detective as a regular on the show. Would you like to? I said, definitely, I'd love to. And the rest is history. 8 years later, I'm still on the show. And I'm blessed to be on the show working with such wonderful, talented people. Yeah, that's how that came to be.
No, absolutely. And there's a part two to that question. Is did you what were some of your favorite networking websites? And would you recommend taking acting classes or just do the networking website?
I even myself years ago took an acting workshop. They met every Saturday for 2 hours for about 6 weeks, and I learned, the ropes of what to do, so on and so forth. I mean, some people believe in taking classes, and I think a lot of that is okay to a certain extent, but I think a lot of people take classes and they just keep on paying money to people and they need to get out there and just do it. I learned a lot from being on set by watching people like Donnie Wahlberg, Ray Liotta, James Gandolfini, people like that. So it's like being a kid playing make believe. When we were kids, we would play. I'm a big baseball fan. I was able to imitate different batting stances from different baseball players. I could name every Yankee position. So it's like make believe, and that's what acting is. So I think taking classes is great, but to a certain degree. I think some people just keep on paying people, and I think it's some of the places are a ripoff, to be honest with you. But I'm not someone that goes to an acting school and graduated. I think it's great. But some people that keep on going and paying people to teach them how to do Shakespeare, and they're not going to be doing theater, is a ripoff.
No,
You know, I'm not going to do. I mean, I think it's great to have some training, but look at Morgan Freeman. He never had any acting classes. And the people that take classes shouldn't knock people that haven't taken classes. Sometimes, oh, you didn't have any formal training. Well, some people have gone to different workshops and have taken some classes, but maybe they haven't taken them at the extent of this other person has, you know?
no, I agree with you. Me and my sister found this guy, and actually, I found him in the newspaper, and I said to her, "Would you want to be Rowan Travis idea with me?" Because at the time, I was a big fan of Suits. Suits had a big influence on me. Long
Uh-huh,
story short, when I was younger, I wanted to be a personal assistant and a roadie, and I was obsessed with Almost Famous. And
uh-huh.
I got sick out of it. Long story. For retail people. And I was watching Suits one day, and I said, I want to do that. I want to be like Mike Ross. I want to have a boss like Harvey Specter. And we were going. I was looking in the paper and it said Middletown, New York acting classes. So that's when I asked my sister, "Hey, what do you want to go take acting classes with me? Let's go try it." And because I don't drive, of course, I paid her on gas money
Sure.
return. And when we're sitting there, the guy said, "Yeah, semester one is 600, and then if you want to continue it after semester one, it's 2,400." And I'm like, I'm not good with math, but
Right.
that's a lot of freaking money. And,
That is a lot of money. You're right.
for me, because I have a disability,
Mm-hmm.
it's waste 24 and 6 is what 36 for $3,600
Mm-hmm.
on a gamble. It's kind of like, why do I want to set myself up for failure?
I totally agree. I know people right now that keep on taking classes in New York and haven't done anything. It's like, say, for instance, you're in a rock band and you're rehearsing in the basement or in the studio, And then eventually you have to get out there and do it. You can learn a lot by being on set, starting out as a background artist, and then gradually working your way up to a principal role, co-star, whatever you want to call it. But continue to take class in class. You got to have enough confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to walk into that casting agent's office and I'm going to nail this part. Okay, it's knowing your lines, getting into character, and taking a workshop or a class is fine, but putting all this money into classes, it's a crapshoot. You're right. I agree.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you.
All right, cool.
Very. Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Caputo.
This is Christine Dunford.
And me, Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Maria Camille Dixon.
I'm a Dates for them.
My name is Linda Presson, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Papick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Orange Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldner.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew and what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm going to come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 668. I'm here with Alex, and with the last 9 minutes left, I'm going to pass this show over to you. But the last thing I do want to talk to you about is you mentioned, some people have it or they don't. And I came up with the idea, but then we said, oh, let's take a commercial break, and so I'm going to save it for this part. For me, how I learn and how you're saying most people learn is that you have to be on the set. And I agree with you 100%. And for me, because I have a disability, I learn, a lot of people make fun of me for this, but a lot of people, in my case, I learn hands-on. So I give you an example. Here's a script. Go in the corner and read it. Because I am dyslexic, I can't really read that well. Like 1 out of 10, I can do like a 5, but I feel myself struggling when I read. So I learn hands-on. So if you sit down with me and go over, the first 2 pages, it will sink in. Or if you say, okay, we're gonna use a phone today, if it's hands-on, to make a long story short, that's how I learn. If you guys say, go read and don't bother me, it's gonna be like, Rush, Fly By Night. It's going to go over my head. So, what I'm trying to say is I'm kind of like you, only I'm a scale back.
Well, I totally agree. That's how I teach the martial arts, Keith. I'll explain it, and then I'll demonstrate it, and then I'll show the person step by step how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen instructors just say, put your leg here, move your arm here, and then turn this way. And the person, it's hard for them to grasp that. Where I will go over there and put their leg there, put their arm here, and help them turn that way. So that way they get the hands on. And with the acting, say you have to study a script. Say, you would do it with your sister. I would do it with maybe my sister or a friend of mine. Like a lot of times when I go on auditions, I'll drive into New York or I go to Boston or wherever. My photographer friend, Jason, he goes with me. And as we're going, he'll read his line, I'll read my line, and we'll go back and forth. So the whole hands-on thing really works. I also write down what I have to say. Like if I have to say, here's the file, detective, here's your file here, and I'll say it and write it down. So those different ways of doing it. I'll read it and then look in the mirror and do it. So there's different ways, but I totally believe on the hands-on method. I use that as a form of teaching. I found that the students are able to grasp what I'm trying to get across when I'm hands-on. I mean, I've seen instructors sit in the chair and say, put your leg here, turn your body this way, put your arm there. And I say to myself, get off your butt, get over there, and help them. And they see the student having a hard time and they continue to sit there. You have to go there and physically help them because they're having a hard time. I mean, some people have a harder time doing it than others. Some people are not the most coordinated in the world. Some people can't process it that quickly. So you have to be, I feel, and I enjoy, you don't have to, but I prefer to be hands-on, and they appreciate it, and they get what I'm trying to teach them.
No, I agree with you. Now, I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to promote? This is your time. And you can see anything you want, gloves off.
Okay. Well, first, I want to thank you for having me, Keith. I really enjoyed myself on your show. I've done other interviews on radio stations and TV shows, and I mean, this rates as one of the top ones. What I want to talk about is, hey, the show Blue Bloods, you know, Friday nights, 10 o'clock, CBS. We're coming down to the wire. Season ends in, well, I'll be ending filming in April, and then we'll begin the following season. And if anybody's in Connecticut, you could come by and visit me at my martial arts studio, Ziwak Martial Arts, 3350 Whitney Avenue, Hamden, Connecticut. I'm on Facebook, Alex Ziwak. You can send me a friend request. I'm reaching the limit, but get in there before I reach 5,000. But again, to you, Keith, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up the show, I just want to say I'm looking forward to part 2 with you down the road.
Absolutely. Thanks. I appreciate it.